Hello, Aries. Welcome to your October 2025 tarot card reading. I'm Jordan, the Green Moon Healing Spirit. I'm going to be doing your tarot card reading. Not as big of a month for October as we had in September. September, there were a lot of eclipses. We had some crazy energies happening, big transits, just things that sort of shook the sky up a little bit. It was a big, huge month. We do still have some big things coming, though. It doesn't feel as busy, but some of the things that are happening are really quite deep. So we will kind of just see where we go. I'm going to be pulling 10 cards and a guiding card from this traditional Rider Waite deck, and I'll be clarifying later on with this Gilded Tarot deck. I'll be pulling you also Fantasy Oracle card, and I will also pull you a Talisman card as well. Just give them a shuffle to infuse them a little bit. All right, Spirit. What's going on for Aries in the month of October 2025? Any messages for them? Things they need to know? Okay. All right, let's see what we have here. Anything interesting going on for Aries? Oof, we have the moon. Definitely an interesting time in the sky right now. Like I said, the moon does, of course, play in for you this month. We also have Four of Swords, Ten of Cups. Let's see, we have the Magician. And we also have the Five of Cups. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so coming right off the bat, we do have the Moon card, which I think speaks very largely to the fact that there is, in fact, a full moon in your sign, Aries, I think around the 6th. So this type of energy, of course, has to do with something that you're completing, something that you need to work out or reflect on, acknowledge and change, and that sort of thing. I do see here that there's the Magician, and that's coming up somewhere toward the middle of the month. There's also a dreamy sort of energy I see right here in the middle. So I think the full moon in your sign is kind of kicking us off and starting us up into what we're going to do in your sign. So this may be a time for you. I see there is also this reflection here. There is a pensivity. I see the moon presents an energy where things may not always be clear. And things are kind of wishy-washy right now in the sky. Like I said, at the same time, we have Mercury entering Scorpio. So that's kind of a very challenging thing for most signs. I think communications are going to get a little bit deep. And I see that for you here with the full moon Aries. There might be some reflection going on internally as to how you can better communicate or bring something out. I do see there's sort of a leaning into bliss, like a dream here too. So I think this might very much be on your mind. Of course, there's also a lot of other things happening. So your ruling planet Mars is also in Scorpio. So it's going to be Mercury and Mars together in Scorpio. And the two of those there together really can intensify communication, deep, deep communication. For you, that's your 8th house. So it's very much, it's an intimate, it's a vulnerable place, which the moon, of course, represents. It may be a normal response for you, Aries, to kind of withdraw inside a little bit so that you can reflect on the things that you may want to either change or maybe help guide you. I do see that with the moon card, you may need a little bit of guidance. This is sort of introspective place, and it's a very emotional place to Aries. Aries is not so, um, I'm not going to say inept at this energy. It's just not something that Aries really very much appreciates, although your ruling planet Mars is extremely strategic in Scorpio. I think that this full moon in Aries is really stirring some things up as to how you can kind of drive your way into the dream. Of course, we also have Venus coming into Libra, which is very much about bliss, harmony, beauty, all the things that comprise a beautiful life, which this card, of course, does. And Venus coming into a Libra on October 13th, it also is going to be there with the sun, which is also in Libra. So I think that the moon sort of stirring up some of this emotional introspection for you might be causing you to consider um, how the sun is shining forward on the things in your life that you wish to be beautiful. Probably relationships, of course, with Venus there. This would be a natural part. And the magician here as well seems to me to be transforming some of this energy going on for you. There's a deep introspection here. And I do see that the goal is a grand one. The magician sees this goal and is able to transmute some of this energy. It's almost as though you're kind of transmuting energy from below the surface in your subconscious outward into your personal life. Of course, relationships, partnerships, things of that nature. Of course, it also has to be said that with the Sun in Libra and Venus entering Libra as well, it is going to be having a trine with Uranus and Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, which Pluto in Aquarius is also out of bounds. So things are kind of amplified a little bit, especially energies like this. Things that may need to change, transform. This is a very complicated archetype, Libra. It has a way of making sure things are balanced and harmonized, but with Pluto trining it, it's almost like an acknowledgement of those things in your relationship which do need to be transformed, change, be left behind. There is maybe some of that coming for you here. I see, of course, the harmony is on your mind. I think this is the inflection here. This is the part where you're kind of looking inside. This does spark an evaluation. What parts of your relationship are things that you think should be amplified, changed, which should stay, which should change altogether, or maybe just stop? And with the moon card, this can be a little bit confusing, especially for fire signs like Aries. There's just a lot of emotion going in here. Okay, this is a very emotional place. And I see the magician, he's going to bring something in for you regardless, and it's going to connect to this dream state. This is the goal. And I do see the magician as very much wanting to do that. It's just that some of these things, I think what you may find in this subconscious moment is what may need to it's a state of grief. Maybe you see things in this relationship that are just not what you thought or not anymore. Maybe something is just not there anymore for you. It's a normal thing, of course, and with this air trine happening, Uranus and Gemini is a chaotic sort of energy at the same time as Pluto is all about transformation and it's out of bounds, so it's very, very much more amplified. So you may be feeling this sense like something is just not fulfilling you anymore. Let's pull some more cards. It's a very interesting time, of course. Okay, here's the Emperor. That's your card. It's interesting. We have a full moon in Aries and also your card showing up right under it. You know, that Martian card. Okay, we have Six of Swords. Six of Cups. Knight of Swords. And we also have here the Tower right at the end. Okay. Very, very interesting. Okay, Aries. So there's a lot of consideration happening. I do see that there's a point here where you kind of are taking charge. So in this first part of the month, it looks mostly, this is the introspection, this is the visualization, the deep dive sort of into your subconscious and understanding its inflective energy. This is the energy of Libra. It is a very complicated archetype and it looks so pretty and so beautiful on the surface, but what's really going on is so much more complicated than that. It's about 10 million layers of complication. Everything has to balance out. Everything has to be harmonious. Everything needs to be perfectly balanced. I think the magician is trying to do this for you, and it's starting to realize all of the things that just are not what they seem. With the moon card, I see that this Ten of Cups may just be elusive. It is, of course, the goal, but it is certainly fleeting at this point. In Aries, the bottom half here, coming after the 15th here, there's a lot of more strategic energy, which Mars is in Scorpio. It's a very strategic placement for it. It's allowed to sort of burn as hot and powerfully as it wants. It's allowed to go to a very deep place and explore that place for you. In your 8th house, it's all about pooled resources and pain and death. And it's a very intimate, vulnerable place. But Mars can just blast forever there and can go as deep as it wants to go and explore all of these concepts in all of their deepest places. So the magician, I think, is bringing that up. It's sort of stirring that pot and making sure that all of the things that are underneath are coming to the surface. We do have, I think it's mostly about relationships. Like I said, with Venus coming into Libra with the sun, it's shining things down, and there's a lot of people in these cards. So I see people in this card. Of course, there's also people here and people here. I just see people. So whatever you're realizing does not fulfill you anymore, I do see a response because the Emperor is strategic and responsive and commanding. He is very good at getting what he wants. This is your card. Of course, Martian energy, Aries energy. This is taking command, taking the authoritative step to address the things that need to be addressed. Because Aries, you would not be okay with all these things just hanging around, all of this sort of baggage type energy, all the things that just don't help you anymore, that aren't there, that aren't really serving you the right way. The magician sees that, and so does the emperor. The emperor needs to take a position, I think, where he can make things chaotic if he thinks that it will get him what he wants. He's not afraid to stir the pot. He's not afraid to shake things up. He is very willing to make sure that all the things he wants to show up on the docket are going to be there. He's also good at making sure things that need to be cleared off are gone. So the Emperor showing up here, I think, has a lot to do with that Aries approach, where you not just see the things that are going on and feel them, and this pensive intuition sort of moment. The Emperor is ready to make the change, and it's going to involve a journey, but he does this, of course, because he perceives that he can make things more harmonious, like Libra wants. He can make things balance. He can make it happen. And he can make things a little bit calmer. He can make the waters calmer. He can make them less choppy. But he might make them choppy first, such that he can even them out in a better, smoother, more reflective, more just better way. And this card is all about forward motion, moving on, that sort of energy. And the Six of Cups, of course, has to do with your past, but this may be people that are from your past, maybe a relationship you've been in for a long time. Energy here is all about sharing with the people who may be part of the picture, sharing with the people who may be in partnership with you, helping you, have been there for you. This may be your intimate partner, of course, with Mars and Scorpio, and the sun now coming into Scorpio with it here. They may be shining some light there in that place, reflecting on all of the things. Of course, we also have at the same time, as the sun is moving into Scorpio with Mars, we have Neptune going back into Pisces, which is your 12th house. It's all about things in the different plane, different place. And it's all about things needing to dissolve that are just not there anymore. I do see that for you. Neptune going back with Saturn in the 12th house in retrograde, it allows you to sort of revisit a dream. This may be a complicated relationship that you have. You might have been striving for something that wasn't really feasible. I do see that this relationship might have been a little bit what appeared to be harmony. It might have appeared to be that, and of course, this doesn't have to be your intimate relationship. I do see it more as that because of Venus being in Libra with the sun earlier, but this could be a business partnership, a job, it could be a lot of things, but there are people in both of these cards. It may be with Neptune going back, it might be dissolving that very real feeling, and Mars taking some charge for you in helping to dissolve that. Because I do see the Knight of Swords. We'll talk about the Tower too, but the Knight of Swords coming after it, it just seems a little hasty. This may have been you running away from the truth. This may have been you running from an uncomfortable truth. I don't normally see that with this card. It's not something I almost never get that with this card, but I do see with the Tower, it's either you are running toward this relationship, running toward it, knowing full well that it might be a pie in the sky and not real, or was a wishy-washy dream, a pipe dream of sorts, is something that you really wanted just on face value, but it seems that the sun in Libra and all the other things happening, it might be shining for you with Pluto, that this may have just been something it wasn't meant to be. Some of you may be in a position where you might have had these feelings for a while. And of course, like I said, this could be also a job, something like that. So don't get all worked up. But if you are aggressively pursuing it, I don't know that it's going to go well. I just see more haste here, like you're almost lying to yourself. And then, of course, the end result, whenever we have this address, and this is an aggressive address, I think of something that you feel deep below the surface, something that you may have suspected for a while here. You may not have been satisfied anymore. It was supposed to be this. This was supposed to be what this was, but it's just resulting in the Five of Cups. It's resulting in a thing where it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I see that now the magician is kind of forcing this address for you. It's an understanding that's being manifest. And of course, coming up underneath this Five of Cups is the Tower, which the Tower is all about upheaval. It's all about big change. It's all about drastic change. So this sort of energy, something is going to change, Aries. It may be that this foundation was not stable. This tower may not have been here to begin with. It shouldn't have been here. It was built up a little too high, pie in the sky toward this dream that wasn't real. And things may come crashing down. I think you, of course, wouldn't be afraid to initiate this tower. You would not, the emperor would not shy away from this if he thought it would get him what he wants, which of course, the dream is still here. It just may be in a different position than you're at with this person or these people. Very interesting. Let's see. Let's pull you a guiding card for the month. Spirit guiding card for Aries. Anything? Take that one. Oh, the Hierophant. Okay, very good. You have the Hierophant as your guiding card. So the Hierophant is all about connection and discipline. Sorry about that. Just had to deal with a little situation. So, as I was saying, the Hierophant coming up as your guiding card has to do with discipline. It has to do with connection to the divine somewhere. This could represent that 12th house moment with Neptune coming into Pisces back with Saturn there. And the address of the dissolution of things maybe sparking from the divine for you, Aries. Maybe that unknown place that you connect to that sort of gives you that inner voice that might be causing some of this to happen. I do see the Hierophant as guiding you the direct discipline steps as to kind of deal with this. This is the Aries process. Whenever there's a detection of this sort of undercurrent, something that was really not sitting right with you, you're able to take charge here with the Emperor energy. And you're not afraid to shake things up. I do see when you sense this kind of just something that doesn't fit right. It's not part of the dream. It's not part of this. It's an illusion. It's something that you sense as an illusion. I think with this full moon in your own sign, we do also have, before the sun comes into Scorpio, a new moon in Libra, which is you planting the seeds to maybe your next new future or new situation, new reality with this thing. There is just a lot of address. I see the Emperor is not one to let anything linger. He will certainly not let anything stick around if it's not supposed to be here. And this definitely shaking things up that he sees are not really going to work out. This tower is going to come down. It's going to come down, Aries. I see you as not afraid of that, though. I also see the knight running toward it, like it's ready. Interesting. All right, let's pull a fantasy oracle card for you, Aries. Interesting address of the situation, though, I have to say. The Sentinel. We have determination and certainty. Of course, this speaks very highly, I think, with the Emperor. This is an energy that Aries is well transacted with. It understands very well how to make things happen. And the Emperor is pretty sure about just about everything going on. And I do see also that the Hierophant speaks pretty well with this card on the certainty, the determination that goes into certain things. The Emperor and the Hierophant are both highly determined and very certain. So I do see that that fits very well with you. If you have energy sitting around in your closet that you really don't think should be there, Aries, it's not going to be good. It's not going to allow you to go into where you need to go. And if you leave it, if you don't address this, the tower might be the rug being pulled out from under you, which is, of course, not something that anybody wants to see or have. That's not a fun energy. I do see you as kind of taking the time to prepare yourself. I do think that there's some foresight with this tower. The Hierophant also might delineate that this must happen. It is something that has to happen. Let's pull you a talisman card. Balanced emotions. Now, the sun is in Libra, so this makes the most sense of all, I would say. There's a lot of emotional energy happening. The moon, the 10 of cups, the 6 of cups, 5 of cups. There's a lot of emotion happening here, Aries. Balanced emotions. Sun in Libra, like I said, is a very complicated energy. It's not as pretty and nice as it always looks on paper for people. They think that Libra is so superficial and pretty and not able to really conceive the depth. That is so not true. It is able to take the cold steps, of course, with the sun coming here in Scorpio, with Mars. Be ready for some real action. There is some real action happening, okay? And where Libra sort of makes the scale balance, Scorpio is able to utilize that plutonic energy and really make things transform. And you understanding and addressing the situation is going to help you achieve this. It's not going to be pretty. It's not always pretty. In fact, sometimes it's very, very startling. It's very ugly. It's something that it's an ugly truth, but Scorpio can be all about that. But Libra is sort of making this all fit for you in a way that can make sense later. You may not understand it. This is Libra energy. It sets things up. It's almost karmic. You may not see everything now, but I think that in the fullness of time you will. Very interesting. Don't be startled. I think this is necessary. I do see that you feel what's going on, coming into October. I do see that you feel it before you see it, and then you start to take action. That's just what you do kind of feel it underneath in the current. Let's clarify the cards. All right, Spirit. Let's clarify the moon card for Aries. If the moon again. Yep, we have the Lovers, of course, too. And the Page of Swords. Yes. Okay. Now let's clarify the Four of Swords. You have the Queen of Cups. I have the Sun. Two of Cups. Yeah, lots of relationship stuff coming up, Aries. I think it's just in the cards for you this month. Now the Ten of Cups. Five of Cups. Lots of repeat energy, of course, too. I also have the Empress. Three of Wands. And now I'll clarify the Magician. The Two of Wands. I have the Five of Swords. I have the Nine of Wands. Now I'll clarify the Five of Cups. Got Page of Pentacles. We have Seven of Cups as well. And I also have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Now I'll clarify this Emperor card. I have the Devil. I have the Seven of Swords. And I have the Six of Wands. Very interesting there on that Emperor card. And now Six of Swords. Clarify that, Spirit. The Page of Wands. We have Seven of Wands. A lot of wand energy. And I have the Queen of Wands too there. My goodness. Okay. Now I'll clarify this Six of Cups. I have Four of Swords and the Ace of Wands. And the Emperor again here. I will clarify the Knight of Swords. We have the Seven of Pentacles. I have the King of Pentacles. And I have the Ten of Cups. And now we'll clarify this Tower. I have Justice, like I said earlier. Let's see, the Ace of Swords. And I also have the Temperance card. Beautiful. And now I'll clarify this guiding card. The Magician. And I also have Eight of Swords. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, Aries. There's a lot happening here. So for those of you who want to stick around for the comprehensive, I do offer that. If you click the link in the description, I'd be happy to see you there. Of course, I always get a lot of information there. It's going to be interesting for sure. Some of you, I understand, there's some relationship things happening. But if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. It can't possibly resonate with all of you. There's just a lot of you. So go ahead and click the link if you want to see me there, and I'll pause it here.